Um, okay, let's start. How to flung up automation on Gherkin. My name is Lilia Urmazova and I'm working for Grid Dynamics in St. Petersburg, Russia. And today I came to you with the better advices how to flunk automation using Gherkin. Why flunk automation and why better devices we will talk a little bit later. And now let me just introduce myself. Who am I? I'm working in IT from 2001 and in QE from 2002. I worked as a manual tester and as automation tester, and now I'm working as a QE lead/manager for one of the e-commerce projects in Grid Dynamics. Why better devices? For the guys who is not from Russia. In Russia we have a very, very famous children's book named Bad Advices, the same. This is a book for unruly kids, for bad kids, who is doing everything on contemporary, on contrary, sorry. And the author thought that if some kid will read this book with advices how to get demarked at school, how not to listen parents, how to be rude with their friends and so on, that unruly kid who is doing on contrary everything will read the book and will do everything in contrary and will be good after this book. So today I would like to make an experiment with you. I will give you such devices that could be included to hypothetical book, the same one for QE automation engineers. And you will be thinking if you are a good boy or girl or not. So if you are a good kid, you will be back to your work on Monday and you will be doing everything according to my advices. And you'll get your automation always read. Why do you need this? For example, you are a test lead and you have no stories for now and your team is boring without work. You should have something to do. Or, for example, you want to show your customers the spectacular performance to update and to repair everything in your regression. Or it's just a sabotage, maybe. You want just to make your regression red. Or if you are a good, not good boy or girl, you will do everything on contrary and you will not have your regression red, at least by these reasons. So, as I'm already said, I'm working for e-commerce projects in Grid Dynamics, and today's examples will be from e-commerce branch. We will search some product on Gherkin and put it to the cart. You can imagine this hoodie as a project, this nice hoodie that I found on Amazon, and I now want such hoodie to my birthday. I'm a mom and in software testing, nothing scares me. So, as in a real book, we will be going from a simplest thing to a bit more complicated. And we will be going through different levels, from a scenario level to test data management level. Guys, I have only 20 minutes, so I would like to give you one advice per each level, because in the other case, my time will be over. Number one, on scenario level. Just a friendly reminder that our purpose today is to make our regression completely red. How can we reach this purpose using just scenario level? Very simple. Just create very, very long scenarios. Do you remember what we will have if something will be failed in the middle of the scenario? the step will be marked as failed, and all the following steps will be marked as not performed, and the test will be red. So the more long scenario we will have, the more probability we will have that everything will be red in this scenario and the test will be red. So our purpose is reached. We have long scenarios and our regression is red. A bit more complicated on steps level. Who doesn't know what is the difference between explicit and implicit weight? You are lying, well, you know. Implicit and explicit. Do we have such persons in the... Okay, I think we don't have such persons, so I will not explain what is the difference. So my advice here is use implicit weights. Imagine that you are writing this scenario with implicit weights here and there in the end. And in a month, we could have optimistic or pessimistic scenario. Optimistic scenario. Our developers decided to improve the performance. And now, some buttons on the page are loading not during 10 seconds, but during 2 seconds. Our tests are still green, but now we are waiting spare 8 seconds. And you can multiply 8 to the count of your scenarios in the run and could think that maybe nobody will run that scenario because it is too long and our purpose is reached. A bit more complicated advice, advice number 3 on methods level. Not so simple maybe. Imagine that you are living with the same, in the same framework with some other team. One project but different teams in one framework. In team number 1, some QE implemented a step when user clicks Add to Cart button and it is working. It clicks some Add to Cart button on some product page, for example. One day, this QE came to work and found that every scenario with the steps, with this step is red. Why? Thought this QE. The first idea, something with the page. 404 error, for example. No, page is okay. The next idea, something with the locator. No locator is on the place. So the tests are red, but everything is okay. Why the regression is red? The right answer, in the same framework, another QE from another team implemented another step. That is clicking some buttons on some page, but since we have a lot of buttons on the page, it implemented as the step with parameter, button name. But this QE number 2 have the same fantasy as QE number 1, and that's why the step sounds the same, with the only difference in this parameter, button name, Add to Cart. So our Selenium see this first step and decided that Add to Cart is parameter, and trying to find Add to Cart button on the page number 2. We have no Add to Cart button on the page number 2 and the step is red. A real case from our project. So, what we should do to not to flunk your project? use the short scenarios, not long one. If you have some parameter inside your step, mark that this is a parameter in some way, for example, with apostrophes. And don't use implicit weights and no unneeded steps, please. So, let's go a bit further to test data management. Bad advice number 4. How could we flunk the project using test data? The easiest and old school way to use a hard code. You, I think, can understand that when this test has been written, everything was okay, because we had that SQA ID on the place and the product price was like this. But in a month, again, the test data updated, and again, optimistic scenario, the product price has changed, and the test is red. And more pessimistic scenario, we have no such product in the database anymore. The test is red still. Okay, that was the simplest way, and everybody, I think, knows that hard code is not very good. Okay, if not hard code, if we are querying our data from some database, the first point, the database writes, even if at the beginning of the project you had the written database right, it could be changed. And in the best case, you will be updating your queries, the code to storage procedures, for example, and it will take a lot of time. The point number 2, in later times, we had one application and one database and integration only from application to database. It was good, but now I think it's not very real scenario, and the real scenario is we have application and a lot of integrations with other applications, and every other application has its integration with some database. And it is okay if all the database are relatives, but we can have Cassandra, for example, somewhere. If we are getting the data from the database, it could be very difficult to remember all this integration we have around. And the point number 3, even if the previous 2 are okay, pulling the data from a database takes a long time. So we still have a chance to flunk our project. The third way to get the data is to use some data file in your framework in XML or JSON or any other your favorite format, and parse that file from your tests. So what can we do to flunk the project if we have such a way to get the data? Very easy, because if you are remembering about it and updating your data every day, it is okay. But if you don't remember about your data, inventory or some other critical property could be changed, and we will know it only after nightly run. The bad advice here, if you have such a way to get the data, and for example, some normal project in your file, use this normal project everywhere. For example, you have 3,000 tests, and from these 3,000 tests, 2,000 tests are put in project to the cart, and then doing something with this project. Use this normal project everywhere, and if this normal project will be outdated, your regression will be red completely, just because of this normal project. What you should do on the contrary? Never do it to flunk your project. Firstly, never negotiate with customer about the data that should never be changed. Some golden data, for example. And it could not be updated in the database because you are using this data in your test. The other point, never allocate a special person or even a team to manage the data, this data that could never be changed. And the third one, never even think about to implement a special pool where you could pick the data up by parameters. And the whole advice here, never take care of your data. If you will do it, you will flunk the project definitely. To sum up everything, on scenario level, not to flunk a project. This is the good advices now. On scenario level, make your scenario simple and readable. The shorter the scenario, the better. On the steps level, use only needed steps and try not to use implicit weights. Okay, in some cases you can use implicit weights, but think 3 times before using it, because in most cases you can avoid it. On the methods level, just remember about your teammates, and when you are implementing something, you should firstly investigate the framework and try to find the same, maybe. And on the last level, test data management level, just take care of your data, and if it is possible, try to negotiate with your customer about separate team or at least separate person who will be managing the data. Thank you for your attention, and it is time to questions. Thank you. I have this voucher for the t-shirt, and organizers said that it is very beautiful blue t-shirt. Who wants very beautiful t-shirt? But you should ask me something. So everything is clear? Really? Okay, I could answer these questions. Okay, we have the real one. Sorry.
But my question is connected to this.
Uh-huh.
How you execute these principles in your practice?
Implicit and explicit weights?
More examples.
Uh-huh, okay, more examples. Hi, Yulia. Okay, in my team, we are using like this. If it is about weighting of appearing of some other element, this is a definitely explicit weight. But in some times, when we are integrating with some other application, for example, as an example, we have end-to-end tests that are doing something on the web, and then waiting for some other application to be appeared, and then doing something in other application, checking some state of order, for example. And we cannot wait here for appearing of this application, because this is not only another page, but completely another application. And here we are using the implicit weight because we cannot do without it. Thank you. Please.
Could you please give us examples of flunk your automation with Gherkin data tables?
With Gherkin data tables. Good. Let me maybe. Here, for example, we have only 2 lines data table, but if you will have not 2 lines here, but 20 lines, for example, it will not be supported easily, and it could have you more close to your purpose. And another example, if you have the same table in several tests, for example. You have the story, and inside the story you have, for example, 20 tests, and every test use the same table. And if you hard code the table inside your story, not in table inside the framework, do you understand what I'm talking about? It will be supported not easily as well, so it could reach you to the purpose. And good advice here is to make separate file with the tables if the table is used everywhere, and put the file to your framework, and then make a link here in examples to this table. And in this case, you can change only this table 1 time, not 20 times in your framework.
I'm sorry, the time is up. You can continue in the whole.
It's smaller role. Yeah, it's mostly scenario algorithm. If you use parameterized test, it's
Ah.
scenario algorithm.
It is working like this, actually. Okay.